Welcome to the fourth video of Lesson 2, where we are taking a close look at the subtraction of mixed numbers. In this video, we will consider a second method for subtracting mixed numbers that is very closely related to our second method for adding mixed numbers. And in videos 4 and 5, we will have an in-depth look at method 2. This is, of course, an approach where only numbers and symbols are used once again. So for method 2, we will change all mixed numbers to improper fractions, and we'll use that little process that we were shown earlier to do that. We will subtract all fractions, whether proper or improper, by finding a common denominator and subtracting numerators. We will then reduce the improper fraction to simplest form if we need to, then take that resulting improper fraction, convert it back to a mixed number, because as I mentioned before, if your question is being given as mixed numbers, then your answer should be as a mixed number as well. And as always, this process will become clearer once we look at a few examples. Here we go. Subtract the following. In A, 2 1/3, subtract 1 2/3. First step in the process for method 2, we're going to change our mixed numbers to improper fractions. So using that little process, I start with my denominator 3, multiply by the whole number part, 2, and add 1. 3 times 2 is 6, 6 plus 1 is a 7, put it over that denominator 3. Subtract. Start with the denominator 3, multiply by 1, add 2. 3 times 1 is 3, 3 plus 2 is 5, put it over the denominator. And when we look at our denominators here, 3 and a 3, they're the same. What that means, we can subtract right away. So put down the common denominator. 7 subtract 5 is 2. Simplest form. In B, 3 3/4, subtract 3 1/8. First step, mix numbers to improper fractions. 4 times 3 is 12. 12 plus 3 is a 15. Over my denominator, 4. Subtract. 8 times 3 is 24. 24 plus 1 is a 25. Over my denominator, 8. This time, our denominators are different. We have a 4 and an 8. We know that in order to subtract, we need a common denominator. The LCD for 4 and 8 is 8. So I do need to write an equivalent fraction for the 15 over 4. 4 times 2 is 8. I double up 15 and I get 30. My second improper fraction, I can leave as is. It already has a denominator of 8. So 30 over 8, subtract 25 over 8. Copy down that common denominator, and 30 subtract 25 is a 5. And 5/8, we can't do anything more with that. That's good. In C, 5 1/2, subtract 5/6. This time I have a mixed number, and I'm taking away a proper fraction. Same process. Change that 5 1/2 to an improper fraction. 2 times 5 is 10. Add 1, 11. Over my denominator 2. No need to change anything with the 5 over 6. That's fine. Now we look at our denominators. I got a 2 and a 6. They are different. The LCD for 2 and 6 is 6. I do need to rewrite that first fraction. The 5 over 6 can stay as is. Now, 11 over 2. Well, 2 times 3 gives me a 6. 11 times 3 gives me 33. And then 33 subtract 5 is a 28 over my common denominator 6. Now this particular improper fraction, we can actually reduce. The GCF for 28 and 6 is a 2. So we're going to make the numbers that we're dealing with in this improper fraction a little bit smaller. So I got a 14 over a 3. Now we need to take this 14 over 3, an improper fraction, and put it back to a mixed number. So how many full groups of 3 can I get out of 14? Well, I can get 4 full groups of 3, because 3 times 4 is 12, and that leaves me with 2/3 remaining. Final answer, 4 2/3. And in D, we actually have 4 2/3. Subtract 3 2/5. Step 1, change mixed numbers to improper fractions. 3 times 4 is 12. 12 and 2 is a 14 over my denominator, 3. Subtract. 5 times 3 is 15. Add 2. 17 over my denominator, 5. When I look at my denominators now, 3 and 5, they are indeed different, so we do need to find the LCD. The LCD for 3 and 5 is 15. I need to write an equivalent fraction, an equivalent improper fraction for each. 3 times 5 is 15. 14 times 5 gives us 70. 5 times 3 is 15. 17 times 3 gives us 51. So we have 70 over 15, subtract 51 over 15. Copy down that common denominator, take 51 from 70, and you will get a 19. That is an improper fraction that cannot be reduced, but we will change it back to a mixed number. So I can get one full group of 15 out of 19, and I'll be left with 4 15ths. Simplest form. And now I'd like you to proceed to the final video in this lesson, where we continue our look at method 2.